It's a relatively good year for women in politics across the world. In 2014, amazingly, earlier this year, we had about 22 women political leaders across board. By political leadership, I'm talking about president, prime minister, interim president, and the likes. And amazingly, there are about four of them from Africa. Let me quickly run you through them. Of course, you know about Liberia. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Beautiful. And born on 29 October 1938, she's the 24th and current president of Liberia. She served as Minister of Finance under President William Tobert from 1979 until the 1980 coup d'etat. She won the 2005 presidential election and took office on 16 January 2006. No doubt a successful candidate for re-election in 2011. And Sirleaf is the first elected female head of state in Africa. Tuale Mama. Now, Sirleaf was awarded the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize jointly with Lema Gbowe of Liberia and Tawakkal Kaman of Yemen. She's also been conferred the Indira Gandhi Prize by President of India, Pranab Mukherjee. That name is tongue twisting, trust me. As of 2014, and she's listed as the 70th most powerful woman in the world by Forbes. Now let's go to Malawi. The name that you will hear now is Joyce Banda. Her Excellency, no doubt, Dr. Joyce Hilda Banda is a Malawian politician who was the president of Malawi between 7 April 2012 to 31st May 2014. She's the founder and leader of the People's Party created in 2011. But this time around, unlike Johnson Sirleaf, she wasn't elected in as president. She took over office as president following the sudden death of President Binguwa Mutharika. She was Malawi's fourth president and its first ever female president. Before becoming president, she served as country's first female vice president and all of that. In 2014, Forbes named President Banda as the 40th most powerful woman in the world and the most powerful woman in Africa. Okay, now amazingly, out of all the African countries that should have a female president, Central African Republic is also mentioned. And you recall outbreak of war and all of that in this region of Africa. Catherine Samba Panza, interim president of Central African Republic and the first woman to hold that post prior to becoming head of state. She was appointed mayor of Bangui. That was in May 2013. The last but not the least is Senegal, and she goes by the name Aminata Toure. Now, she is a prime minister of Senegal between 1st of September 2014 to 2013 rather, to 4th of July 2014. She was also the second female prime minister of Senegal after Mame Madioboye. She previously served as Justice Minister from 2012 to 2013. The next phase should be Nigerian, right? But the last time I checked the history of Nigeria, no woman has ever occupied the presidential office of this great country. There are many questions as regards maybe we have something for a change in 2015. Many have just hissed that away, but not this woman. We met this woman somewhere in Ibadan earlier this year, and she was speaking to wives of Oyo State officials. She goes by the name Toyosi Akirele. Quite optimistic about female leadership in Nigeria. Let's hear her out.
Let me just quickly demystify that, long myth of the fact that women are the weaker sex. There's nothing like women are the weaker sex, because earlier in this year, all the most important federal government ministries in this country were led by women. The Minister of Petroleum is a woman. The Minister of Finance, woman. Minister of Water Resources, woman. Minister of Education, woman. Minister of Aviation, woman. Minister of Women Affairs, woman. Minister of Water Resources, woman. Minister of Information and Communication Technology, woman. Apart from all those ministries, other ministries are other ministries. And so if our petrol, our water, our education, our environment, our aviation, and everything that makes us significant as human beings are managed by women, we are actually not the weaker sex. We are the more powerful sex. And so, I've never liked the idea of girl child. Please tell my father I am not a girl child. First, I am a child. Second, I am a girl. There's nothing called girl child. A child is a child whether it's a boy or a girl. I don't want anybody to stereotype me and box me into a corner and call me a girl child. These days in Lagos, Nigeria, where I live, when you drive all the way from Adeni Jones, where my house is, to all the way to Lekki and Aja, all the Tundras, the Prados, the Lexuses, and Range Rovers are driven by women. Yes. And I'll quickly tell you why. The problem is our parents and the way they're raising their boys. So in the morning, so I'm a first child, I'm a girl, I have one brother and 2 sisters. And so in the morning, my mom would say, Toyosi, wake up in the morning, raise your younger ones, have the bath for them, put them in their uniform, make sure they go to school. When they go to the market, take 5,000, buy meat, buy milk, buy rice, buy this, buy that. Make sure you negotiate. You must buy everything I gave you out of 5,000. Negotiation skills. Then you tell me, wake up early before everybody in the morning, lead the family in prayer, you are the first child, and then put all your younger ones in the uniform and let them go to school. Leadership and human development. Then the boys would speak brashly and the girls would talk anyhow, and their mothers would say, no, girls don't talk like that. Girls speak respectfully. Communication skills. And so the boys would sit like this, and the girls would sit like this. Etiquette. And so your parents will give you 10 things to do in a day, and the boys will be doing almost nothing. And you will achieve all of those things in 24 hours. Time management. And so you are a girl child, as they call us. You are the first child in the family. You would go to school, you will come back, you would have to cater to your parents, cater to your aunties, cater to your boyfriend if you have, multitasking. And then when something goes wrong, people expect the women to empathize. They expect women to be more caring. They expect women to be more sensitive. They expect women to be more attentive. Emotional intelligence. If you look at the working world today, whether it's in government, private sector, civil society, or business, those are all the major skills you need to be successful in your life. And the boys spend that time watching football and washing cars. That is the reason why all the most powerful positions will not just be taken by the women over the next 20 years. We will demystify the men.
Quite hilarious, right? Now, she says most of the powerful positions taken over in the next 20 years by women. But now let's quickly juxtapose that with the reality on ground in Nigeria. Although the President Goodluck Jonathan's administration pride itself as that administration that has more women participation in politics than others, hiding under the canopy of the 35% affirmative action. Yet, less than 8% of elective political offices are occupied presently by Nigerian women. Well, you want to ask me why? I think you can kickstart that debate wherever you are right now. But I'm joined on set in our studios here in Lagos by one of the few courageous Nigerian women that have delved into politics, Honorable Folashade Olabanji Oba. She's also an APC aspirant for the Ikorodu House of Assembly. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you know you pay big for all of these hypes that I'm giving you.
Thank you.
The last time I was with your husband and said, he told me practically that he wasn't going to delve into politics. I was asking her, why would you now allow your wife to go into politics if you would delve into the dirty waters of politics? But what are your reactions along this line? What gave you that courage to think that you can fit perfectly into the system of politics as it's being run today in Nigeria?
Well, like he said, he wouldn't delve into it, but my husband would also tell you that the best decision he made in his life is to marry me.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and that tells you the amount of trust and the strength he knows I have and passion. When I believe in something, he knows I go all the way for it. I stand through thick and thin, and we've been together for a while, and he's my worst critic though, but he also encourages me a lot because he knows I really, really do care.
You're not a newcomer. You used to be a chairman of a local government, right?
I aspired in 2011.
In 2011.
Yes.
Okay. But how would you describe the challenges thus far for women to actively participate in the Nigerian kind of politics?
Yeah. I think it takes a strong will and can attitude, but also an enabling ground. And so if you really look at it, the parties have to put a gender-friendly policy to encourage more women. Now, yes, we've got the cultural, social, and all that limitation, but we also need that encouragement, as by the funding. And right now, you would say the numbers kind of decreased, especially because of the security. When you think about the violence that goes with the elections, more people are more worried about their safety. And really, some men would also be conscious, like allowing their women to go into politics, not really sure of the hostile environment that they meet there. But then it is what it is. We've got to deal with it. We can't run away from it. The society would definitely be better with more women participation.
We'll get there, but we can't also run away from the role of the traditional African woman. I know that we keep hearing that our role is no longer in the kitchen. But who now does the kitchen jobs when all of you enter into politics?
I think you must be able to juggle both. You cannot shy away from your responsibilities. A woman is a nation builder, a home builder. It starts from the home. So you must take care of your home because, yes, public service, but the whole reason, the whole essence why you're doing it is to be the best in whatever you do. And it starts from your home. Your children must not lack anything. Your husband, they must have no regrets. So when you're going into politics, you must know that you're going to have to look for that extra hours in the 24 hours to be able to juggle both balls to where, you balance it out. It's very important.
Someone said there is no such thing as balancing, but there's prioritizing. At a point in time where you have to meet the demands of your husband, you have children to cater for, and then at the same time you're holding a powerful political office. How realistic really is this idea of balance?
Very realistic. There's a real world out there. I think if you look at the role of service, most people look at leadership as you're lording over people, but leadership is true servanthood. So you sacrifice at the expense of some other things. And so if you say, okay, you want to juggle your husband, your children, take care of yourself. Obviously you must, but you must know that you must create that relationship as a mother, as a sister, as a wife, and then as an employer, a good administrator. And most times, I'll talk for myself, like I once had a boss that would look at me and say, wow, I don't know how you do so much stuff and you still have, because he was bald, and you still have so much hair on your head.
It must be the multitasking she talked about earlier.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's okay, I can handle it.
All right. Beyond all of these, because I'm trying to ask you a lot of questions within the little frame of time that we have. Women participation in politics have enjoyed quite a number of advocacy in recent times. Recently, the INEC chairman talked about gender policy. The former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, endorsed women as being more trustworthy than men in politics. But how do you balance all of this with all the realities we've enjoyed in the past? You remember the Etes of this world. Remember the Minister of Aviation of this world, the Minister of Petroleum, the Desanis of this world. Some might even say that probably women are even more corrupt than men.
Oh, I'm sure you were just able to list 3. And if the population...
Maybe I didn't do my research.
If the population of Nigeria is almost 200, and we are over 50% of that, trust me, those were probably the one-off situations. But I can tell you we have wonderful, wonderful women in Nigeria that are built to last you forever. Honestly, they've got the strength, the integrity that you can really, really count on. And I think it's the time is now. Now you talked about the PDP. I'll talk about the ACN. The policies that are in place now, it's actually encouraging more women. Look at it. Even to presidency, we've got free forms, the party is encouraging, and then the training. You actually have leaders in different communities that actually will tell you, hold my hand, you can do it. And cut across the states. It's what's happening in our party. And I'm very proud to be, part of that movement.
Well, how would you also describe the idea of having female deputy governors? We've seen much of that within your party.
Deputy governors, yeah.
Are you satisfied with that?
For now, it works, but I hope someday we would have female governors in Lagos State.
I'm sure that Nigeria hasn't had the female president. I'm not sure whether we've had a female governor. But do you see any of this springing up as a surprise in 2015?
Maybe not 2015, but definitely the next dispensation, I'd say, will be there.
How would you describe the atmosphere within the party structures? We've heard about hostility against female aspirants. They've talked about how do they get the money, for instance, to participate in a primary election. What's the situation really like for the women folks?
Like you said, Nigeria itself is going through a tough time. So, man, woman, it is what it is out there. And I'm just glad that Nigerians have this very strong will to actually, if you look at all that we've been through, we're still standing tall for it. And so it's all temporary phases, like teething problems. I want to believe that we're going to get through this.
What I'm trying to say is that, for instance, if you are going to have to participate in a primary election, how do you compete favorably, financial-wise, with the other male figures in that party?
I think before you go into election, you must have counted your cost. Okay. And I'm talking not just dollars and cents and naira and everything, as in like your leadership capacities. Okay. And your leadership capacities is not just based on your pretty face. It must be based on merit. So a lot must go into the quality of the woman as well, to where you don't even see yourself as a weaker sex. Because once you do that, you're coming off at a disadvantage. And you're like, oh, help me out. No, you must be able to see yourself way beyond that, but with a bigger heart and more passion, because that's the way we're naturally built.
After all, we will now begin to consider whether it's a function of gender or a function of potentials and ability to lead. Of course, we've talked about the 35% affirmative action, but is it really a function of having women to lead us, or are women really capable to lead? Can they favorably compete with men? Let me give you an example. Now, we've been running the show for months now. I can count on my fingers how many women analysts we've had on the show. The availability, the response, the drive, the hunger, the achievements. Do we have enough yet in this part of the world?
We don't have enough. But we must do everything to make sure that we are at that number, because, it's actually for a better Nigeria. If you look at the youth, the women, the numbers, if you have over 50%, and you're having just 8% representation, we've got issues right there. So we must do everything, and I mean everything, to make sure we're able to at least close up that gap to where the women also participate fully, so that we can have a more vibrant, economy and development. Because that's, if you look at the developed worlds, and you see the stability that they enjoy in the economy, that's a result of more women participation.
We're going to test it out now. I'm going to open the phone lines. I've been on the show for a while too. I think I've only had one female caller. So we're going to test the ground. So we're going to have a female caller on the show today to contribute to all of this. But if we're going to drive it back a little bit to the basis, what did you think these problems emanate from? Is it a function of education available to the girl child? Is it a function of cultural challenges? Where do you place the challenge?
It's a mixture of both. We are who we are, Nigerians. Our culture, seeing women as, weaker or more inferior, and really we're being raised to be more dependent on our men. And so we've got to snap out of that mindset and have that attitude of where, we can also complement, make things, be a helpmeet that we truly are designed to be. It's not by accident that God created the women and men. You can't do without us. You're stuck with us.
It's all right. Let's take this call. This is Nasamu from Kwara. Is that male or female? Male. I thought as much. Please go ahead with your contribution, Nasamu.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, this is Natam calling from Ilorin, Kwara State.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Natam calling from Ilorin.
Go ahead, my brother. We're with you.
Okay, my question is, in Nigeria, even the woman, I remember the last time, even this woman from Ilorin, Kwara State wanted to contest for the president of this nation. To my surprise, not any woman come to support her. Even during the primary, even the first lady do not even vote for the woman. Everybody is against women. Even the women are against themselves. So I don't know where we are going in this nation. Women will come and say, okay, we can do it, but we discover that they are not even supporting themselves. So God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Nasamu, for your contribution. You recall that primary election in PDP where a woman contested and only had one vote. When she was going out to vote, quite a number of women followed her. But after a while, when we saw the result, it appeared that she was the only one that voted for herself. It doesn't mean that Nigerian women do not even believe in the ability and capacity of women to lead. Maybe not just yet.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe that was then, but now things have changed. And then you said PDP, I don't know much about. Okay. So I can only talk really pretty much about.
So you're contesting
APC.
for the Ikorodu House of Assembly. Do you consider yourself a pretender or a contender? Because there are two groups now.
A what?
Pretender or a contender?
A contender.
All right, let's see if we can take one more call before we go. But if you have the opportunity to speak with the Nigerian woman, what exactly would you say to them? I'm giving you 1 minute.
That the time is now. They should brace up and be the best. The country needs every woman now. Don't just sit and complain about all the problems. Be the change that you want to see in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for coming today. I've been speaking with Honorable Folashade Olabanji Oba, APC aspirant of the Ikorodu House of Assembly. I understand I have a call from Braid. Oh, finally we have a woman. Good morning, Braid. How are you today?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Call Digest.
Hello.
Please go ahead with your contribution. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, just give me a nod. I'll know if you can hear me.
We can.
Okay, good morning. Yeah, the other caller said something about, the woman not being voted for. I think that era has passed.
Okay.
Women are more sensitized now, and we are ready to go for it, and I think we can do it, and we will do it. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Braid, for calling. I would have appreciated if you called earlier because we're calling to react to what the guy from Kwara said. Thank you very much, Honorable Folashade Oba, for coming. We appreciate it. We hope that subsequently you also join us to discuss other national issues as they evolve. A big thank you to all of our callers today. My production crew first, Bright and Emmanuel, they've been wonderful today. At least I give you some 60% pass back. From Kwara, we had Nasamu, we had Lagos, Larry calling from Lagos, Ahmed from Yobe, who actually brought to us what the feeling and the pulse of the people in those areas are like. He said the suffering on the emergency route is much and they wouldn't want an extension. Tubi called from Ondo State, Amotaya from Surulere, Lagos, and Abubakar called from Abuja. Our last caller today was a woman reacting to what Nasamu said. Great. Thank you for contributing on the show today. We'll take a break now. It's not a break. We're rounding up the show now, and I'll be back at the top of the hour with the news. I'm Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.